Calico fans, this is H.H. Sherman from Sigma Comics, coming to you from the greatest city in the world. It's New York City, it's Gotham City, and today we're going to talk about a pretty peculiar thing that happened in an animal sanctuary not too long ago. But before we continue, I'm going to hit my Calico mug here. Good stuff as always. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and remember that we do have issue 8 right now on pre-order on Kickstarter. This is issue 7 of Here Comes Calico, Escape from the Bronx. We have issue 8, 7 in the whole set, and we also have the manga as well on Kickstarter. Go pre-order the set, and you're going to love it. You're going to be helping in our fight against animal abuse. Hit subscribe and like. All right, let's hit the topic here. So this happened in an animal sanctuary, a zoo, really, right? Anytime you're capturing animals, it's really a zoo. Female lion mauls a male lion, kills him. The male lion, of course, was bigger. It wasn't that the male lion was weak or smaller. He was an average-sized male lion, strong. In fact, a pretty, young, strong lion. And the female lion there killed him. Wasn't stronger than the male lion, but she killed him. And when I read this story, I thought about it for quite a bit. And, this is what happens in nature when the strong animal does not exhibit their natural traits in the wild and in nature. Who knows why it was? And, of course, the key point there is in the wild. Being in an animal sanctuary isn't in the wild. Okay, but technically, anytime you have you're around wild animals, you are in the wild, right? It's just in an artificial setting. Well, this lion, this male lion, it was very clear to the staff of this animal sanctuary that this was not a typical male lion, in that this male lion was not assertive physically with the pride. It was clear that the female lion, had more sort of management of the pride, if you will. And so she took it upon herself to cull him out of the tribe. And frankly, if this was to happen in wild nature, okay, outside of a controlled environment that the animal sanctuary is, this would have happened, in my view, quite a bit quicker. And again, you don't know the circumstances about why the male lion acted this way. Perhaps it was because it was in captivity and it was depressed. We don't know these things. So maybe in the wild it wouldn't have been depressed and or acting in this capacity. Mind you, because it's an animal sanctuary, the lion has nowhere to go. So if he was acting this way in nature and there was a conflict with the lioness, perhaps he would have the opportunity to get away from that pride and simply move on, right? Well, he didn't have that option here. But what a thing. What a thing. A female lion to kill a male lion just like that. Wow. That doesn't happen every day, anywhere. All right. Here's my perspective on that. We all have our responsibility in our lives, regardless of what we are as beings. And this was not a male lion that was living up to his responsibility in that pride. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, he didn't have anywhere to go. There was some interactions that were filmed, and you could see that this male lion was definitely not. He just simply wasn't acting the way a male lion does in a pride with the other creatures. And this male lioness was extremely assertive, and she did, I guess, what nature called to her, was to this guy. We don't know precisely how these things work, but my view on it is, my perspective is, maybe there's something that it naturally, innately came to her, that this was going to be a problem for this pride. In the future or currently, whatever it is, maybe you don't know the interactions, the psychological, emotional interactions that happen with. There's so many variables here. It could be that she sensed an illness that perhaps could lead to the destruction of the pride, so proactively neutralize and remove this weak or ill creature to prevent illness. It could be that she wanted control herself. It could be that she had some previous history with the male lion. There are a lot of variables, but my view is that when you, and I say you, the only thing I can speak to is as a person, but I speak now as a being. When you as a being, regardless of what species you are, have an innate sense of what your role is in any dynamic, okay, you work to that, you live to that, you are that. When you sense something is awry and you have any sort of commanding role in any group, you're going to act on that, and that's what happened here. This male lion wasn't acting like a dominant figure in the pride, and she took it upon herself to remove that for whatever reason. Again, my view is for that reason. He simply wasn't performing to the role, in short, right? So what does this have to do with comics? Because that's all I speak about here on this channel is comics. Well, and animals, of course, too. But that's why I'm speaking about it, because it's animals, right? So we're all animals. Humans, sapiens is an animal too, right? So we just have more command over our facilities, or at least we think so. Okay, we live in these structures that work for us, or in some cases don't work for us. But we are the dominant creature on the planet. Okay, so we have put ourselves in a place where we're thinking about things, we're having conversations about things, and when things happen in life, like this event here that happened, as a creative person who likes to get information from all parts of the world, and information having to do with lots of different things, mainly, in my view, or in my preference, I should say, is animals. I like to think about those things and how those stories impact the creative work that I do. And I was inspired by a female lion asserting what she felt was a responsibility within that pride. And she took it and she took him out. She took it and she took him out as a result. Okay, it's fascinating how these creatures work, and some of it simply can't be explained. You already heard my view, and these are the things that inspire me as a creative person. Things like that happen in nature, or controlled nature, if you will. From that, I'm able to craft stories, characters, and all these things. This is how we get inspiration as creators, right? So I just found that to be an interesting topic to discuss here, and I'm curious what you think about this, because this is something that's extremely rare. It doesn't happen. This is why it made headlines. Female lion, lionesses don't go around killing male lions. Frankly, physically, almost always they can't. And this, by the way, is a female lion that killed this male lion by herself. Okay, so that's extremely rare. Okay, forget about female lions killing a male lion. This was one female lion that killed one male lion that was quite a bit bigger than her. And that's exactly what happened. The deeper I thought about that story, I thought about how just the interactions with, it's only human, right, for me to think about the interactions between men and women and how they treat each other. You can draw lots of parallels between dominant women and I guess not masculine men. I guess, right? That starts getting into a sort of a gender discussion. But really, I mainly stay fixed on the aspect of comic books, heroes, anti-heroes, etc. That's really more my perspective on it, and what that could inspire in the future in a potential story. Anyway, it's just something that I wanted to share. It was an interesting thing that happened out there in the world, and I wanted to share with you something to think about. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. One of the things that was discussed recently, which I found interesting, was the pitting of a lion, all males by the way, a lion versus a bear versus a gorilla. Okay, who would win? I think this was actually discussed in an episode of Rogan, Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan podcast. Who would win in a fight to the death? A lion, a bear, or a gorilla? I think their consensus was that a bear would win. If I saw bits and pieces of it. Somebody, I think one of them said a gorilla, I think, and a couple of other guys said the bear. I don't think anyone picked a lion. And frankly, I don't even think it would be competitive. I think a lion would take them both out. Understand the following. The gorilla weighs at most about 4, maybe 500 pounds. I think, going on averages, I think a gorilla weighs about 400 pounds, max. I think they max out around 500. I may be mistaken. You guys can correct me there in the comments. The bear is unequivocally the biggest of all of them. The bear can, weigh about 1,000 pounds in some cases, right? Or upwards of 1,000 pounds. And the lion, I think, weighs in around, a good 4 to 500 pounds around there. They're around the same weight as the gorilla. Here's the difference. A gorilla is, although they're all wild animals, a gorilla is extremely strong physically, has quite a bit of power there in the mouth, and that's pretty much it. So your damage is coming from, or danger I should say, from the mouth area and from the grabbing and beating. A bear, you're going to have a problem in a couple of different places. It's the mouth area, right? The teeth. They also have these extremely vicious claws. Possibly of the three, the bear is probably the most dangerous when it comes to the claws. And then, of course, you have the lion. And a similar situation with respect to the bear. So you're going to have a problem with the teeth and the claws. Here's the additional very serious problem with the lion. The lion is not only extremely strong like the other creatures, but is exceptionally fast and can leap in ways that neither creature can even come close to. This thing can barrel itself into you at an alarming speed with the same, or if not more dangerous, claws and teeth. The teeth on a lion, the lion's going to be the most vicious when it comes to the teeth situation. All right, go ahead and compare the teeth of a bear to the teeth of a lion. Okay, I understand how big the bear is. All right, but look at that mouth on the lion. Okay, when they open that, all right, that's going to be a serious problem. All right, so again, this is not in comparison to a human. I'm talking about each other. All right, so I think that the lion is going to be the one that's going to come up, and these things. Here's the other thing: lions fight on a regular basis. They are apex predators of the jungle, and they are. So that's another part of the jungle. A jungle is a much, much harsher environment than a forest that the bear and the gorilla hang out in. There's tons of shelter, serenity in a forest. that you will certainly not find in a jungle. Okay? So you have a more extreme environment. You have a fighter, okay, a warrior in that lion that is constantly at his craft, fighting on a regular basis, meaning that all those weapons are honed. Bears hibernate. Okay, they call it quits for a good portion of the year. They're out there sleeping. Okay, eating fatty stuff, fatty fish, and things like that. Not that that's anything wrong. I'm just saying that in order for the lion to eat, he has to kill this thing with his rip these things to shred. Speed is involved, menace, aggression, power, the claws, the weapons, everything. These are elite predators. The lion, pound for pound, is a much more vicious and effective predator than a bear. Okay? I guarantee you that the success percentage of a lion versus a bear is significantly different, with the lion coming out ahead. All right? And the gorilla, come on, the gorilla is a passive creature in comparison. They're eating grass, okay, and shrubs and these things. A strong creature, but simply lacks the weaponry that a bear or a lion will. I think this is really this comes down to the bear and the lion. The gorilla doesn't even factor into this. Frankly, the gorilla is indefensible. I mean, it might as well have a person in there. I mean, I don't mean to insult the gorilla, but they simply lack the weaponry, right? The lion wins, folks. That's my view. Anyway, of course, I'm partial to cats. Anyway, let me know what your comments are. I love talking about and reading about the animal kingdom, and I'm curious to know what you think about that. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as I mentioned before, issue 8 of Here Comes Calico is on Kickstarter. This is issue 7, which is already available right now on sigmacomics.com, but get it at the Kickstarter because there you can get the whole set. Go to kickstarter.com and type in Here Comes Calico. Again, kickstarter.com, Here Comes Calico, and you'll see the Kickstarter campaign for issue 8 of Here Comes Calico, where you can get the entire series, and that helps us in our fight against animal abuse.